Hoist the sails, the tide is high. Blue seas meet the open sky. Pack your bags, come sing along. Every journey starts with a song. Hey ho, away we go where the warm sea breezes blow. Near or far, we'll find the way. It's Travel Tuesday. Set sail today. Set sail today. Every port's a story told. Every sunset shines like gold. Friends will meet along the way, making memories every day. Hey ho, away we go where the warm sea breezes blow. Dreams are waiting just for you. Let's explore the whole world through. Set sail today. From mountain trails to ocean blue, there's always something new to do. Raise your glass and sing once more. Adventures waiting on every shore. Hey ho, away we go with the wind and the waves will flow, making the impossible possible to Travel Tuesdays calling you. 1, 2, 3, but
Nice.
I thought that was fitting for your trip to Puerto Rico.
Absolutely. Puerto Rico.
Love it.
We are on our way. Yeah, it's amazing that I'd like to welcome everyone to the show today. Of course, we've got the illustrious crew. We've got Mary, we've got Ed, and Ron is on his way to a healing, and he'll be back with us next week. He and Linda. And my name's Rick Rees. We've got Mary Stanley, who is our illustrious leader. Illustrative. And she's Army, as I am by birth. But we have Ed, who's Air Force, as I am by choice.
That's right.
And of
Hey.
course, I know, right? I'm in rare form this morning here. Who's that?
That's my wingman.
Yeah, man. Air Force. Yeah. Flying off
Oh,
in the
we don't hold it
sunset.
against y'all.
Yeah, well, we pulled your butt out of the fire a couple times, didn't we?
Hey, that
Now,
literally
imagine this,
happened.
Mary. Mary, imagine this.
You know what's
Now,
funny?
you know that speaks volumes.
I actually search and rescue aviation, so I learned how to fly a helicopter before I learned how to drive a car.
Nice.
And this is back in the 90s. So women jokes were still a big thing. So the joke was it was safer for me to learn to drive in the air than it was on the ground because there's less things to hit.
Ay, ay, ay.
Except the
Forget
ground.
about 'em.
You hit the ground, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Let's forget about
not
it.
according to Red 2.
Yeah, no, people don't know. People don't know the power of words. But yeah, Ron is in. He's catching a healing, and looking forward to him being with us next week. And yes, we
Awesome.
leave for Puerto Rico tomorrow.
Oh,
And
I thought
for
it was today.
no tomorrow at we leave it early in the morning, and so we'll get there about 2 o'clock to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and it's exploding. Surge 365 is absolutely flat out exploding. The convention is 100% full capacity.
Oh, nice.
100%. Hope springs eternal. And when you can give people hope, for their future. And it's very hard to do unless you have a tool. And so Surge 365 is representing a tool in Puerto Rico travel. And the tourism industry is huge in Puerto Rico and many countries. But
It is.
and we tell people this all the time. Now, this is a closed industry. This is an invitation only industry. It's a trade. Travel is a trade industry. Think back on the old travel agencies
Hmm.
of the past, the mom and pops. You didn't just get in that business. You had to be special to get in that business.
You had to
And
know somebody. Well, and even if you got into the business, you had to go to fairs and expos, meet by hand, and build that personal relationship with vendors to even get into those areas.
Yep.
it's true. It's true. And so, it's almost like when I started a lock business where we changed out front door locks, deadbolts. We put locks on sliding glass doors, and I just came into the military, new family, and we bought a new home in an emerging development. We were like one of the first homes there, and I said, you know what? I want to go in the lock business because we wanted to make some extra income. Nobody would give me the secret. The lock business is a trade also, and
Hmm.
it's protected. You don't get the information to change out locks and those little pins and to rekey. You couldn't get into that industry if you tried because it's a closed industry. And so when I started my little business, I'm like, how do I learn about how to rekey and install locks and all that? Nobody would tell me. And but
No, and you had to know real estate agents to even start getting into knowing certain people in locksmiths.
well, the opportunity was there because it was a new development, and so you had homeowners in there, and I was willing to go door to door, which I ended up doing. And I'm like, who's going to tell me this? Nobody. Like, mum's the word, mum's the word, mum's
Yep.
the word. And then I went to the mall. That's why you start with a vision. Because if you got a vision, that's why I'm so impressed with you, Ed, because you are a visionary. And when you start with a vision, one of the things you don't realize, you're actually creating something. You're creating your vision. And so my vision, I'm going to do this lock thing. So I walk in the mall one day, and there's a guy there with a little stand. They have those little stands in the mall, and he's rekeying. He's offering his rekeying services. And I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. So I go over, and we just started talking. And I started telling him what I want to do, and he said, "Oh, I'll tell you. Hey, here's the company that you call, and that you can email them information request, and they'll send you. You can order the little kits with all the pins in it to rekey." He gave me all the information I needed, all the information. So I ordered it. I got the little key, the little pins that you could
Hmm.
rekey locks, and we had a relationship. And he was telling, okay, this is how you do it, da, 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 da. And I started my lock business and serviced all the folks in the new up and coming, homes that were opening in my little neighborhood. Then I put locks on their doors, deadbolts, eye holes, for the lookout,
Hmm.
peepholes, and man, we made a lot of money. And I remember when they would pay me with the checks and some in cash, I would bring it home to them and throw it on the bed. All the bills, all the dollar bills and 100 bills, and she would go, "Wow!" And I would live for that moment. And I said, "Let's go out and get some food. Let's go out and get some Chinese food." And we go out and get things, let's go shopping. And I was an entrepreneur to my heart. And but I had a thriving business, and it was started as a vision. What is your vision? And so being able to go to Puerto Rico and to give the tool, share the tool, travel to these folks who are on the island of Puerto Rico. Oh, I love that. That's your thing, Ed?
It is now. That's what Mary made.
It is now. And I want to talk about that in a minute, but let me finish this. So, being able to go to Puerto Rico and to share hope with these people, many of whom are hopeless because of the hurricanes, because of the being set aside with the administration, because of all the different things that are happening, at this point, and then being able to share Surge 365 to give them access to a closed industry on the island,
Wow.
an industry that's locked down. The tourism industry on the island is locked down to most of the people on the island. And so you got money coming in and money going out that doesn't touch the people. And in an instant, in Surge 365. And Mary, I want to show one thing before we show that. So give me the ability to share before we jump into Ed's logo. And so, let's see. Where is it? Oh, here it is. And so, in an instant, you guys see my screen?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
The island of Puerto Rico, Surge 365 coming to the island and saying, hey, we have an opportunity that gives you access to the travel industry. And so you've got not only access to the travel industry, the travel technology package, which most of them have purchased. It includes, now I want you to think about this and why they are just exploding and why it's giving them so much hope. You have an actual travel agency. I don't know why that's just showing. Yeah. I don't know why it's doing funky things, but let's see here. So, let's see here. Wait a second. Click on this. Okay, here we go. So you have an actual travel agency with career opportunities. So imagine, the people on the island that come into Surge 365, they now can create a career path in travel because it's a travel agency. So if they want to become a Puerto Rico specialist, that training is free, it's online. If they want to become a cruise specialist, all the cruise ships that come in, they have access to a special needs travel specialist. And now they can actually earn commissions, create an income stream. Secondly, in the travel technology package, they have the Vortex. And so the Vortex earns income, it's revenue generating. So they may give that Vortex link out to someone in the States, in New York, where a lot of the Puerto Ricans came to New York and Florida and all the different places. And they may support it. And here's a free link. Book through this link, and your friends and family and strangers and businesses book through this Vortex link. I want you to think about this. The billions of dollars, that Expedia makes, that Travelocity, that Priceline, Booking.com. If they can garner the market share because people are booking through that Vortex link that's linked to the people of Puerto Rico, Those billions of dollars that are flowing away from them now flow to them. So the vortex is a tool that harnesses and redirects wealth. Billions of dollars in an $11.1 trillion travel industry, growing to $15 trillion. Now they've got a tool that brings money to the island. Because why? People are making a consumer decision to book here instead of there, and that money goes where they direct. And then thirdly, in the travel technology package of Surge 365. By the way, Mary, it's awesome that you got back up and running. And so, but in the third product is a wholesale travel club membership and concierge service. Wow. So now with this money, that they have access to and the career opportunity, they use their travel portal, their members program, to travel wholesale instead of retail, get the lowest rates. They use a concierge. They've got a customer that wants a trip to wherever, like you're talking, Ed, going to Japan. The concierge can set the whole thing up. Okay, concierge, I've got a sister city in Japan, and we want to set up a trip and go there. And so we've got 50 people going, 100 people going. I need you to set that trip up for us. We're going to be going to this city, and we like to do these things. They set those trips up. And it's part of your membership. You don't have to do it. They do it. They do the planning. They do the everything that's needed. Okay, how many flights? How many the hotels? Or they will plan the whole thing out for you. And now you come in as the hero to your organization. Yes, I can do that. Here's what I'm going to need. You ask the concierge, what information do you need? Or you ask ChatGPT by giving Mary all the details of the trip, and somebody asks ChatGPT, we're planning this trip to wherever in Japan. We've got this many people going. See, today we have access to information and knowledge. And to take that one step further, you have access to the travel industry to now get paid. What is access to information if you can't make money? It's good information.
It is just an encyclopedia that you had, on your bookshelf.
See, we're
Just
coming in with
information.
a tool that says, okay, you want a career opportunity in travel? We have all the training, it's free. You want access to the booking engine that makes billions of dollars? Okay, we have access to it. Now those market share dollars can come to you. How much do you need? Well, it's consumer, it's demand, supply and demand. If you got it, the summer's here, as the song says, people are dancing in the streets. We're dancing on the show. Every travel adventure begins with the song. Hey, so the vortex is revenue generating. And then now you have a choice. You can either use the travel side of the business to book the trip to Japan and earn a commission, and have ChatGPT do the planning for you. Or you can contact the concierge through the members program. I wouldn't do this, but pass on your savings so they get they get your members rates, so the lowest savings. But it's not revenue. You don't make money in that. You earn reward credits, but you don't make money. What I would recommend is going through the travel side and earning a commission. That's the commission that's paid by the industry. and let ChatGPT plan the entire trip for you. You know, but that's a choice. That's what you have on the table. So you have options. The problem with people today, society today, is that options are limited. Now you think about this. I joined the travel industry, and I'm a military guy. When I come into the industry, travel, and I'm looking at all the options and all the things that I have access to, in my military mind, the first thing that comes to my military mind is logistics.
Amen to that.
This is how goods and services get to the market in the travel industry. We know logistics. We know logistics. If you don't have a supply chain set up, you're doomed. Now, this, when I saw this, I was like, you know what? This gives me access without limit to the travel supply chain in booking, you know, online booking, and online training. And so I'm like, yes, yes. And wholesale rates, I have access to all of it. And I'm like, what? Where does that happen in life? We have access to everything. 2005, 2004, I came into the industry. I haven't gone back to work since 2005. I went full time in 2005. Brenda, my wife, owned a real estate company, brokerage firm. The broker, she left before I left. She got burnt out before I left. She's like, I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm leaving this. I'm tired. And in 2005, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to transition to my passion, to my purpose. I say that so easily, but I actually was forced into it because of what Mary called asked earlier about calling. I had a calling to go into the community that I resisted. How do you know your calling? Well, for me, and this is just me, I got a royal beatdown until I answered it. That's not everybody. But for me,
God does subtle only a couple times, and then it's slap in the face, slap in the back of the
now,
head.
how do you say that for non believers? How does that look? What does that look like for non believers? Like, we know, like when I said I got a royal divine beatdown, you guys understood what I meant as a believer.
For non-believers, you feel like your head's banging against the wall. Everything bad is gonna keeps one thing after another, one thing after another. You know, things just keep going wrong.
What would you say,
And
James? Since you've done
What?
things, you've not responded to things and things happen. Did you ever put two and two together that maybe possibly
Yeah, but I've gotten to the point where they say think outside the box. I stopped thinking outside the box and just started thinking there is no box. Right?
has that? Here's the question,
Okay.
because the question is motivation to do, regardless of a box. The motivation to do something is the question, regardless of box, regardless of any of that, because that's a deeper question. No, we're just talking. I'm talking the motivation, the inspiration, the to do something that perhaps other people run away from, and it falls on your shoulders. and you do it
does.
or you don't do it, is there a consequence, a recognizable consequence in that?
Yes.
And how does that consequence look? To the believer, the consequence, okay, not even the believer, to me as a believer, when I felt that to do something, I said, nah.
Yeah.
Like Mary said, things started to happen that initially made me go, hmm, oh no. And I started drawing a connection. Is that just me in my mind, or is that something?
For
I,
non-believers, it's more of self-fulfilling prophecies. You think bad, bad's gonna happen.
hmm.
You think good, good's gonna happen.
Now, and that's a good question. Could I have thought this away?
No, because there would have been obstacles in your path.
Is that a construct, or is it something real?
It's something real. I'll give you a good example. Um, Life got hard for a couple months there. Car didn't work and money was getting tight, trying to figure out how to get groceries from to the middle of nowhere, trying to figure out how to fix my car. And David was started having issues, so I thought about just taking a break and shutting down the business. There's only so much of mom. Mom's got to figure too many things in the world out to figure out, keep going. All of a sudden, things got worse. We got screwed by a gentleman that was going to fix the car. My check didn't come in. All these things that I had no control over at all happened. And then all of a sudden, I get a phone call from a state representative telling me that they wanted to sit down with me and talk about what I do and how I can help teach things in a different level here in the state of Minnesota. From there came my paycheck. From there, everything started going back into place because it was the sign that I couldn't close the business. I couldn't stop it. What I was doing was too important.
Wow. I love that. I love that. You know what that's called? All of it is called alignment with your purpose. Getting in alignment or getting outside of alignment. In alignment with your purpose in life, the service you are to provide, that you were born gifted, talented, skilled to provide, is that alignment in life where you find every single thing that you need in that alignment. Money, confidence, leadership, everything you need to get the job done is found in that alignment.
Well, then I called you the other day. I get an email about the latest update with RFK and autism. There was the sign. The guy who's against anything and everything all of a sudden decided this is how we're going to treat autism in the future. Here's the draft. And it perfectly aligned with what I was doing.
That's why, a lot of people don't trust themselves and the things that they do, not realizing it's bigger than them.
Hmm.
And more often than not, excuse me, the decisions that they make without knowing are in alignment with where they're going before they understand where they're going. But they don't trust it because in life, they've been beat down, drug out, abandoned, and don't trust themselves. And,
But that's
and
a lot to do
mhm,
with the business culture now. I go into networking events and I talk to, marketers and stuff, and they want to know what's your goal of how much money you're going to make that year? How much clients are you going to work with? Um, your marketing, what's your end goal for 2026? I'm like, I just follow a path.
that's it.
And they don't know how to operate and work with you and market you if you don't have a dollar amount. I'm like, I don't ever focus on dollar amounts. I have a mission, follow the mission, the money comes.
Follow the mission. But see, we're military too, and that's kind of what we do. We're not chasing dollars.
Mm-mm.
The dollars find us when we follow the mission. I heard something really interesting yesterday from this guy on YouTube. I've been listening to a lot, Myron Golden, Myron Golden. And he was interviewing someone that is a YouTube guru. And he was saying how it's not about selling products, on YouTube. It's about the time that people spend on your YouTube channel and offering things for free and them coming back again and again and again and again. Not followers, not, views, but the time spent by offering something that is benefiting people, that's changing their lives, that's offering something that they can't get anywhere else. And it turns into something that they were actually willing to pay for. It turns into an offer. Like right now, Ed has something nobody in his city has, being in Surge 365. Now, I don't even know the people in his city. I don't even know what city he lives in. But I can tell you that who is in Surge but Ed. Ed has an advantage. I have an advantage here in Charleston. And I think there's other people I think in Surge in Charleston, but they don't know what I know. They don't do what I do. I know Ed. I know Mary.
You know what the best part of Surge is? And getting people to understand this is a whole different level. The travel agency is a cutthroat industry. They're always, who's better, who's, stuff like that. Who knows who? But in Surge, it's a community. You get stuck. Somebody that knows more than you, because always there's someone that knows more than you, is a phone call, a text message, an DM away to guide you and help you. There's always, you're a community. It's not a competition.
In addition to that, there is not a company out there in the world that has what Surge gives us in one package.
Hmm.
You may have a travel agency, you may have a vacation club membership, you may have a booking engine. You won't find that in one package. For $500? When we used to, how much people used to pay for brick and mortar travel agencies back in the day, and in a monthly mortgage or a monthly certification or training as a travel agency. A vacation club membership today, even $10,000 in a monthly fee. You don't even have access to buy a booking engine.
No?
$17 billion is what Barry Diller paid for Expedia back in the day, and millions of dollars a week to maintain it. And a person comes into Surge 365 immediately has access to all of that. Of course, with the travel, we want to make sure people are real. So 30 days, you got kind of a period to train and to understand. But all
Plus,
of
you had
it,
to shut down your business that's brick and mortar to go to the training because it wasn't online back then.
and it wasn't online, so we used to have to go to the trainings. And now, see, that's that other thing about alignment. Alignment puts you in alignment to your future that you don't even know is coming. And like you're saying, Mary, we didn't know all this training would be available online. In fact, Surge back in the day and the legacy company had to fight the industry. It was so far ahead of its time because things had not shifted to the internet yet. So you have mom and pops travel agencies walking around with their chest out like they own the world, and all of a sudden everything shifts to the internet. You have big box stores walking around all puffed up, and then all of a sudden everything shifted to the internet, and they missed it. When we opened Canada, I was part of the group to go up to Canada to open Canada, and I forget what year that was. Maybe I'm not sure, 2007 ish. And we went to the malls in Canada where they had the travel agencies in the mall, and they're all puffed up and puffed out and walking around all big and bad. And we're like, do you guys not know a tsunami is coming? That everything is going to shift to the internet and you will not be in the mall. You're like, oh yeah, we're going to get to it. All this, arrogance. Where are they today? We were ahead of our time in travel. And we took a beating for it because they were like, no, no, no. We've got travel agencies, travel agents out there. And then they didn't. And all the vendors shifted to the internet. And then they recognized us as visionaries. And so when I think about Ed and in his city and surrounding cities, who is even like him? They don't. We have to understand what we have. And more importantly, in being in alignment, we have to understand that we are where the future is. The future never moves out of your alignment because that's why you're aligned. And you can realize that you actually, in alignment, are aligned to your future and can trust the path. That's heavy duty stuff. When you are in alignment today, you can trust the path to your future. I gotta write that down. Say something, Mary, so I can write this down.
You know what the best part is along with that is that Surge stays on top of the training. So when new things open, new things like the cruise ships going through Lake Superior, you get the information on it. And you get the opportunity to work with a lot of different organizations and leaders in the industry, from hotels to cruises to destinations. A new hotspot opens up. You get the chance to be a part of it. And a lot of times you can, as an agent, go for free or next to free just to go check it out.
That's what we do. You are describing my life.
Yeah, mine will get there soon.
We go for free. We MSC had an inaugural launch of one of their largest ships a couple years ago, and they put out a call to all travel agents saying, all you got to do is register. You don't have to take any training, nothing. Just register. Be a travel agent and register. We're like, really? And so Brenda and I, we registered. And it was a 7-day Western Caribbean cruise on the inaugural launch of one of their largest ships. And so we registered We didn't know. We thought, yeah, yeah, they could probably give us inside cabin, balcony suite. Well, it wasn't a suite, balcony room. And we're like, yeah. Once you've actually taken a cruise and you've done a balcony on a cruise, you cannot do an inside cabin anymore. There's no way. You're used to seeing the sunsets and the sunrises, eating breakfast on the balcony, ordering in and eating breakfast on the balcony. Midnight, just being out there on the balcony, just meditating and seeing the moon off in the distance and seeing the water, and hearing the water just the ship just cut the water and just looking out at the ocean and going, wow, what is beneath there? And the whole thing. And then of course, even during the day, looking out at the blue water and the sun, just sitting out there with a book and just going, oh man, this is the life. Having your feet up and maybe ordering lunch and just me. It's just beautiful. And so we did that. It was free. And they said if you want to bring your family or anybody else, 50% off your ticket. And so we brought our entire family, and we just had so much fun. The greatest fun that we had, aside from, of course, going into the different ports, was dinner at night. And we had a round table with just the family, and we laughed and we talked, and you can imagine ordering anything on the menu. And so we would order a couple of meals to try out different meals and just sit them in the center of the table, and everybody could just eat from it and try different dishes that you normally wouldn't buy, if you were going to a restaurant. And we were just eating, and of course the drinks and the fun and everything and just the laughter. You talk about the best time of our lives. That was one of the best times in our life, as a family, because not often can the entire family get together, and we were able to get the entire family on this cruise. And so for those 7 days, and it was over Christmas. It was one of those cruises over Christmas, so we had Christmas on the ship, and of course they were celebrating, and the confetti falling, and yeah, it was just one big party. And so they had in the area of the ship where they had this huge party, and we were standing up on one of the balconies looking over at it, and they was throwing T-shirts out, and one of the guys from way below threw me a T-shirt. I mean, we caught eyes. I said, and it came straight to me. I got a T-shirt, miracle. Then they had this iCam, to catch you, you know, and so you could look up in the big screen. You could see yourself on the iCam, and they caught Brenda, myself, and my son one time, and we're like, yeah. They froze the picture, and we're like, yeah, they got us! Oh my god! Oh my god! You talk about just so much fun. And my brother-in-law, he's not a professional gambler, but he always wins blackjack. And so him and my son and went and played, and he won, because he had paid the 50%. He won the cost of his cruise back a couple of times again. And my son actually won some money. And we were just over seeing my grandkids this past week up in Fort Collins, Colorado. And my son was saying how his wife was telling us, we normally don't gamble, but we went out one time, and my son Cameron, he said, we've got $100 that we're going to spend. And seconds later, he said, $100 is gone. He told her, okay, we have $100. 1 second. Next second, okay, nope, $100 is gone. But this is the lifestyle that we have. So you can imagine getting back to Puerto Rico, where the system says you're locked out. And Serge says, no, you have complete access to the largest industry on the planet. You can imagine the hope that those people have. And so this weekend, Wednesday, everybody flies in. The Surge 365 International Convention in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We fly in tomorrow, and on Thursday they have a travel expo where all the different travel vendors are coming in and they're showing their wares for the travel side of our company, Trathmanity. And so that's going to be a full day expo training where some of the vendors will come in. Our major vendors will come in and offer training. So you're going to have conference rooms full of people with the vendors offering, okay, here's who we are, here's how you can sell our product. And we've got several major vendors that are going to be coming in and doing that. And then everything kicks off on Friday. And we have a couple of sessions. They even have a session in Spanish as well for a lot of the folks who can't speak English, because we're really just opening up Puerto Rico to Surge 365 in a major way. And but a couple of sessions on Friday night, we have an award ceremony where folks who have been doing different things over the past year. I mean, we do an international convention every year, and so they'll be giving out awards, especially for that power line. The company launched the power line last August, and the power line is where the company has said, we want to get more money to you. And so what they do is, think about this as a company. Every month, they take $20 of the $99 membership that we pay. They take $20 of that and they put it in, they split it across 10 pools. And when a person has been in, like you've been in for a while, and if you go back in your back office, look at the power line. When a person comes in, it's the membership, the TTP, the package, as well as the SBA, both of those. Now, they lock their position. Every new person that joins the company is placed under them in a single line. And Ed, you got to have at least 200, 300, 400 people that have come in since you've joined. And the $20 that's taken from every single person is put across these 10 pools. And we have access to that money when we earn $1,000 bonus. And we achieve a position like team builder. There's 5 people that have joined the team. 5 people that have joined the team, not only do you get a $500 bonus to recoup your money, but you're free, and the $99 monthly fee is waived. And so your monthly fee is only $20 a month. So 5 people join the team, you know, free, $500 bonus, you recoup your investment, and your monthly fee is only $20 a month. So when a person hits $1,000 bonus, now in these 10 pools, they have access to that money, and these pools pay out and every month. So people can get $1,000 bonus, and so now not only are they getting the $1,000 bonus, which actually is like $1,300, but they're getting the money that's in these pools that's split up from the folks who get the $1,000 bonus. More money, more money, more money. As we grow as a company, that $20 that they take from every single person, these pools become enormous. And when we hit $1,000 bonus, we empty out the pools. And for the people that hit how can we get more money? How can we get more money? How can we do more for these people? That is the attitude and the heart of the company. What can we do to get more to them? You know, more access to the vendors, more access to this, more access to that. The whole idea is how can we help these people? And so now in bringing in Puerto Rico, the tourism industry in Puerto Rico doesn't have a lock on the money or the training or anything more. Now, is that good or bad? To give people access. What would you say? Is that good? Is it bad? Probably depends on perspective. If you're the industry, what do you say, Ed?
That's good.
For the people, it's good. And here's why. It gives people access to the online training. So imagine somebody in Puerto Rico immediately goes global. Like Ed, you live in a small town, relatively speaking,
Hmm.
but you actually have a global business
Yeah.
that, that's everywhere in the world. You have an online booking link through Vortex that through social media, if somebody in whatever country, Israel, going to London, gets your link, social media, and books a hotel in London, 99% of the time, or we say 85 to 90% of the time, they're going to save on that hotel they stay at. Up to 50, I mean, up to 60% over the Expedia price. Let's say that the savings is $100. Ed in small town, I should say Mary in small town uh, Minnesota that nobody really knows, 150 people or so. Mary makes $100 from somebody booking from Israel to London through her Vortex link. She makes $100 finds her into small town Minnesota. Mary, you need to mute your phone. We're getting your feedback. Mary through small town. The $100 finds her. And then she gives it to somebody over here in Alaska who's going down somewhere in Los Angeles. This is self-booking. And so looking at the people in Puerto Rico, now they have access through the travel agency, Travemanity, to career opportunities in hospitality and tourism. The training, no one can say no on the island. Through the
It
vortex, they
builds
have,
trust.
what's that?
It builds trust
It,
not only for the advisor or for the people, also for the advisor that put it out there.
absolutely. And then they have the vortex link that generates revenue from anywhere in the world.
World.
See, I'm military, and you don't even have to be military to understand that that's access to money, global money, and that except for market share, I make billions like Expedia. I look at processes. The process of the vortex is access to money around the world. And not just the vortex, the consumer booking engine. Then I look at the savings through the wholesale club membership, the concierge service. Who gives you savings like that in travel? Where do you even have access to savings like that in travel? You don't. That's why when people talk to me, they're like, well, I don't know. But you look at my back office that shows you all the savings that I've accumulated.
Exactly.
And then from there, you have a special need or a food issue. A good example is my son's got sensory issues and he will only eat certain foods. And with him being autistic, he tends to stay up more at night. So you hear the thud, thud, thud. And we had it set up with the hotel to get a pizza oven put in our room, and they would store pizzas for us in the kitchen. So even if their kitchen's closed, their staff could go grab one and bring it up to our room for us.
Wow. And so Mary, being a specialist in neurodiversity travel, she's teaching. See, this is a creation. Mary being a specialist, Mary having a company that specializes in neurodiversity, adding travel to that. Now she says, I want to be a specialist in neurodiversity travel to show families that you're free to travel. Here's how. to show travel agents. You can market to these families because they want to travel. That's a whole nother industry, career field, neurodiversity travel. And then to turn around and show the industry, because that's her profession, neurodiversity industry. We need to have an oven that we can do pizzas because that's all my kid will eat. These pizzas or sensory issues. We need to but to teach the industry. Here's how you service these families. Now, of course, they're going to pick and choose which ones are cost effective to do, but they don't
But
even
most
know.
of them are. It's, simple things like law enforcement doing that extra trip through the parking lot. It's adjusting a lock, adding that second lock on 3 rooms on the bottom floor in a corner, not on the top floor.
Even asking the question, do you have someone that would be going that? And because of Mary teaching me, I didn't call down to the front office when I go to the hotel, and 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm still hearing da 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 da. I'm like, put that bad kid to sleep, will ya? And then guess who comes to mind? Mary. Well, maybe there's a situation.
Oh, an even funnier part was when you called and asked me about it, you could hear it. I'm downstairs in my
I
office.
call and ask her, and I hear that 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 that, and it's the same pace. I'm like, what? That's the issue. That's not an issue. It's known. They
As
said
a
the,
parent, you hear that thud, thud, thud. You know your kid's in that room.
she said that's giving them parents. They don't want to stop it because that's giving them the assurance that they know where their kid is, and that they know he's. That's what they do. Now the hotel did not know to put that family on the first floor only because they didn't know. They probably never even asked the question. And so with Mary now, they asked the question. Now they know, put the family on the first floor so that it's not disturbing anyone below them with the that. I call Mary and I'm hearing that. Is it Mary? Did you adopt the same kid?
It's
He's
a universal
following me.
regulation tool.
The kid is following me everywhere I go. I call Mary. I call my friend. I call somebody else. I call a stranger, and I hear that. No, I'm just kidding. But
It's in your nightmares.
I go to bed.
But that's the same thing with PTSD and making sure veterans are up on the top floor away from the elevator because of the sounds. And they're more in seclusion and not around everything and all the noise.
That's why nobody can ever tell me that there are not opportunities to make money.
There's always an opportunity, and that's where hope comes in. Hope is your gateway to your imagination.
Ooh, you got to write that down. See, that's why we're never stuck. And that's why if military people knew how they have been uniquely trained, they're never stuck. Because they have been trained to imagine. They have been trained to say failure is not an option. We have been trained to think outside the box, like you're saying, Ed. That is us. Now, in this world, they say we're crazy. But if we could just bridge and understand that the things that we have been trained is what the world needs.
One man's crazy is someone else's imagination. Albert Einstein was,
You got to write that down, Mary.
Albert Einstein was, they considered crazy. Genius is one step away from crazy. But we're always taught and trained and looked at to be able to think outside the box and solve a problem. And that's part of the reason why we struggle in civilian world is we don't do committees and analyzing pro and con list to solve a problem. We see an issue, we see a light bulb that's out, we go and change it.
That's why we're never stuck. That's why for veterans to be homeless, veterans to be stuck, it's our job to remind them who they are. You know, and
Yep.
the system says, don't tell them, don't remind them, you know, keep them stuck, keep them dependent. And those of us who have tools that have set us free, even though you may not even understand it yet, it is our responsibility to let them know as they rebuke us, as they come against us. No, you don't understand. This is freedom. I'm speaking freedom. Mary is taking a tool, neurodiversity, in her business and added travel to it. You may be a photographer, professional photographer, add travel to it. Whatever you're doing, add travel to it. Rick Reese said, no, I'm adding travel to it to build an affiliate marketing organization by giving this tool to an affiliate marketer. I'm not an affiliate marketer. I'm a guy, a military guy.
You
I give-
create cool little taglines
You
to it.
make
It gets
millions. And with the affiliate marketing compensation, I override millions. So I make millions. So I can be freed up to do my passion.
You
So
know,
tools. When people say you're crazy, no, you're saying, no, I got tools. One man's crazy is another man's imagination. Where'd
you
that
know,
come
and that's it. And it brings in great conversations. Like, you know, my tagline on a lot of my networking stuff is autism, trauma, travel. Well, people, they're like, where does that come into play? And I go, one, I teach you how to do this stuff. And three, travel pays for all the autism work that I do because families don't have money.
As people stay poor with all the tools around them, as families with children with autism stay poor with all the families around them.
But it's understanding you can do more than one thing at once.
When they
You
work
don't.
2, 3 jobs
Yes.
with the tools that they have and the
Granted,
access.
we work 2 or 3 different jobs, but we get to go be home doing it.
Well, one of the things that, one of the jobs that I worked when I left the workforce in 2005, it pays me over $1 million. Are you kidding me? You can't tell me anything when I've lived an experience. It's an argument to a lived experience versus a thought. I don't know. No, I lived it. I went into the community to see if I could create an income stream from the travel business. I'm still in the community. Can't tell
And
me.
you got to help make a business at the same time helping victims and people in big events.
And I'm using travel as a tool for freedom. Now, it's just travel. There's other businesses. You see, and this is our responsibility. But this is the creativity that we have from our military experience. That's why every military person should be that leader in the community.
Especially when you sit and struggle and get down on yourself because you can't get a corporate job or places won't hire you because you're military. You don't play well in the sandbox with others. Great. Now travel is a great way to do that.
You don't play well in the sandbox because you are the sandbox.
That's it.
You own the sandbox. Okay. Hey, till the next time.
Have a safe trip. We'll see you when you get back. I want pictures.
Okay. I'll give you the update.